Hey kiddos, I decided since it is Pride Month, I'm going to do like something that I've never done before, which is I'm going to be doing a song, and then I'm going to tell you all how I figured out about my identity. Let's close the window so we're not going over here about this. Alright, so first let's do the song. It's gonna be The Village by Robble. I don't know how to say it, but it's pretty popular. It was made for trans people to use, which is really cool, and recently it was covered by a transgender choir, which is absolutely amazing. Let's go. No, your mom don't get it, and your dad don't get it, Uncle John don't get it. And you can't tell grandma 'cause her heart can't take it, and she might not make it. They say don't dare, don't you even go there, cutting off your long hair, you do as you're told. Till you wake up, go put on your makeup, this is just a phase you're gonna outgrow. There's something wrong in the village, oh, they stare in the village, no, there's nothing wrong with you, it's true, something wrong in the village, there's something wrong in the village. Feel the rumors follow you from Monday all the way to Friday dinner. You got one day shelter, then it's Sunday, hell to pay, you long lost sinner. Well, I've been there sitting in the same chair, whispering that same prayer 500,000 times. It's a lie though, buried in disciples, one page of the Bible isn't worth a life. There's something wrong in the village, oh, they stare in the village, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, it's true, there's something wrong in the village, there's something wrong in the village. Right, now the song's done, let me tell you about how I found out about, well, my identity. So, since I was younger, I kind of realised that I like doing masculine things. Woodworking, stereotypical masculine things. Yeah. Let's just start from when I was about 7, not living here. Found out about the LGBTQ community, and despite living in a very conservative household where thoughts of even changing your gender were very, very forbidden, I just kind of started thinking, oh, neat. So when I was in about year 4, I started having these thoughts which were like, I don't feel completely like a girl. In fact, I feel like, part boy. So I started going in the boys' line at school, much to people's dislike. And when I actually questioned some of my old friends on how I acted when I was a kid, they were like, oh yeah, you were always acting like you wanted to be a boy, so we're not really that confused about the fact that you did transition. But yeah, I'd even tell my friends that I liked wearing the boys' trousers because it made me feel more me. Of course, there's no such thing as boys' trousers, but at that point, that was what I believed. Let's skip to when I was in year 7. I came out as non-binary, changed my name to Ash, and that didn't last long. especially with the transphobic shuns of my old school. I kind of just became a recluse back in my shell. I came out as trigender, then bigender, but none of these really fit, so I stuck with bigender until one of my, like, a friend of family came over and asked if I was sure I wasn't trans. And at that moment I kind of just broke down in tears, because that's when it all kind of made sense. The feelings of dysphoria, suicidal thoughts, the thought that maybe I wasn't good enough for this world because my body didn't fit in, it just made sense all of a sudden. And I will admit, it was weird to think, and it was actually a BuzzFeed quiz that helped me realise my gender, and I'm so ashamed about that fact. But the result was, hey, you might be a trans guy. And of course I was just taking this quiz for the piss. I was just taking the piss out of myself. But then I decided to do some thinking, try some new pronouns, and I was just like, okay, let's try these pronouns. I first tried they, them, and I was like, yeah, these kind of fit. Check the names, went with Ash, that was the first gender phase I went through. Then I went back to being a female, publicly, but as I said, didn't really feel that way. When I did transition to male, I started using the pronouns he, him, because that did make me feel better. And after transitioning, I found that I stopped self-harming, I stopped having suicidal thoughts, I just stopped being so depressed. And out in public, I would slap my chest, and whenever people would call me sir or say, oh, look at him, I would just be like, oh my god. As I started getting more comfortable, I would start wearing things I liked, such as goth makeup, women's clothes, because I kind of like doing drag, it's fun. Start going to pride parades, flaunting that, hey, I'm a guy, not a girl. But I don't expect people to use my pronouns. If you use my wrong pronouns, I'm not gonna go, you can't do that, I'm a guy, because not everyone's gonna perceive me the way that others do. I do have some very supportive family members, but most of them I have not come out to yet, but I do plan to. I've been trans for almost 3 years now. Wait, it's been 3 years. I've been trans for almost 4 years now, or at least identified as trans. And honestly, if someone gave me the choice for my gender, I would just stick to being a cisgender female, because the amount of shit that trans people have to go through, this was not a choice every single day. I just look at myself and I'm just like, why did I have to be trans? What? But I have found a community that does accept me. I have a friend group that does try their best to go by my pronouns. They don't always get it right, but that's okay. I don't get offended by people saying my dead name. I'm just a bit shocked, if they never knew me as a girl, because people will be like, oh my god, it's me, and I'll just be taken aback, really. But I don't really take offence to it. It's honestly just been such a wild ride ever since I transitioned. Through my transition, I've had to put up with a lot of shit. My first year of being trans, I met a guy online who was a psychological abuser, and the only reason I stayed with him was because he supported my identity. But I have 3 siblings who do try their best to call me by my name, although it's only 3 out of all of them. It's a lot for me, and I'm soon going to be coming out to my cousin Lexi in the southern part of St Helens in Lancashire. It's going to be very difficult, but I do think I can do this, especially because I've been like doing my transition really well. I've been voice training, I've been doing a lot better with my mental health. I've just been a lot happier recently. And even though people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't be trans because it goes against the Bible. Yes, I've heard this a lot before. And my response to that is, I don't force my trans identity on you. Do not force your religion on me, because I already have a religion and I'm very happy with it, because my god Dionysus is very accepting, as he trained as female but then became male. Which basically, my god can be perceived as trans. But if anyone literally has any questions, they can just ask me about it. I'll be very straightforward about it, but it will be a bit of a struggle because I'm very bad at thinking on the spot. Is why I like taking breaks to think a bit. But yeah, being trans it has never been a choice. Like, if I could, I would just become female again, but it just kind of never felt right, because when I was identifying as a cisgender female, you could even ask my siblings, I was suicidal, I was self-harming, I was doing stuff that was not healthy for my body. And now that I do identify as male and embrace my identity and go to pride parades and watch the drag queens and just see people who are like me, it gives me a lot of comfort. And again, you don't have to abide by my pronouns. Abide. You, as long as you respect my gender identity and don't be like, oh, you're going to force your gender on my friends and family. I'm really not, because I was not influenced into being trans. I did not know trans people existed until I was 11. And even then I paid them no mind. I absolutely hated them. But when I was, 12, I, just found out, hey, I should not hate these people. I am one of these people. And one thing people need to get the grasp of is intersex people. I've met many intersex people, and people are like, oh no, you're just, I don't know, born a female or born a boy, you just want to be both genders. With all the intersex people I've met, they have wished that they were, one biological sex, not both. And they do wish that they could just be, normal, perceived as normal. I think as a society we're literally failing to accommodate for children who are, expressing who they are properly. Because with the amount of hate crimes and transgender suicides, 47% of transgender kids do end up killing themselves because of other people. And I just find that absolutely unacceptable, because I could have been one of those 47% because of the stuff I was surrounded with. But as I grew and became, more of me, I kind of realised that I should not be, made by what other people think of me. I figured out that, well, everyone's going to have their different opinions. I can't stop that. There's always going to be a person who doesn't like my identity. But as long as I ignore that and respect them, is that a daily long looks good? It's not. As long as I ignore them and respect their opinions, I'm going to be okay with that fact. Because I have heard people going, saying that it's scary, the amount of transgender people nowadays. It was always a lot of transgender people. Especially with hearing about the stuff that's been happening, everywhere, especially America. If Trump gets re-elected, he's probably going to take away trans rights, and it's going to be like the Stonewall riots all over again, in the words of my big sister. I think that even if you don't like someone's gender or identity, you should do a bit of research into it, because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, most people, especially trans women, just transition so they can be predators and go into women's bathrooms. No. I know multiple trans women, none of them are predators, and they feel terrified of going in women's bathrooms. I go in men's bathrooms, but just because I feel comfortable in that space. I feel so dysphoric in women's bathrooms. Like, if a disabled toilet is taken up, I will just use a men's public bathroom. Another thing, if you believe that trans people should not be using disabled toilets, trans people are allowed to do that. It has been stated by many disabled people that they are fine with that because trans people suffer from BDD, body dysmorphic disorder. That's what most trans people suffer from. For me, it's literally just hitting my chest and the nether regions. Again, most trans people would choose to just stay cisgender because I have less rights than women. All trans people have less rights than women, and it's sickening to think. And if you don't support like the changing of genders, and you act like it's not, like, if you act like it's the changing of sex, you are just stupid. I know what I am biologically. I am a female biologically. I'm fine with that fact. I know biology. It's not about who I physically want to be. It's about my mental health, knowing that I want to look like a male, but I'm still biologically female. And again, with people acting like this is just something that has only started existing like in this century, it's been here for ages. I once saw a video of a trans guy from 1920s at a golf course, and he was treated better in the 1920s than most trans people are treated in the 2020s. I find that absolutely just horrible, because we are worse than the people who existed 100 years ago. Like, how stupid is everyone to just, be the reason that fact exists? If you do not respect someone's gender, keep your mouth shut. Nobody cares. Just try and be respectful and don't make a spectacle out of it. Because if you have hung out with me for more than 5 minutes, you will know that I just talk about my gender a lot because it's my special interest. I like, educating people. I'm hoping to become an activist for trans people, but not one of those like overboard ones which are like yelling at strangers for not using correct pronouns. No one's going to perceive like someone in a certain way, such as one of my male friends who is cisgender male. Someone accidentally called him female, but he didn't make a big spectacle out of it, and he's the most defensive man I've ever known. Yeah, just don't be a dick. That's basically all I'm saying. Now, that's enough about my gender identity. Let's get on to my, romantic identity. So, I've been through tons of, romantic identities. When I was in year 3, I was a lesbian, bisexual, everything under the umbrella. Oh, did I tell you about the time I thought I was gender fluid? That was only for a day, yeah. I went through a lot of identities. Anyway, back to my sexuality. I went from lesbian to bi to lesbian for ages. Then I went to omnisexual, pansexual, questioning, aro ace, gay, just gay man, pan, trisexual, 10 sexualities so far, androsexual, androromantic, the attraction to masculinity. this is when like my romantic orientation started like being, oh my god, I exist. Androsexuality is the, well, let's just talk about being androromantic because it's basically the same thing. Androromantic, the romantic attraction to masculine features, whether it's on women, men, non-binary people, trigender people, bigender people, any gender with masculine features I can be attracted to. And eventually this year I did come out as androromantic homosexual, which is I'm attracted to masculinity, but I'll only have like, when I'm over 18, sexual relations with other men, because I'm literally a guy. I think that's all of it covered. Sorry this is a bit of a long video. Didn't mean for it to be very long. But happy Pride Month, happy Men's Mental Health Month. I hope you are all doing well. If you do need to like talk to anyone about your gender identity and you don't feel safe at home and you know me in real life, please do talk to me. I can give you, some advice on how you can feel more safe. Sometimes the safest option is not to come out, until you're in a safer environment. Like, the only reason I came out was literally because the closet was made of glass, which means I was in the closet, but everyone could tell that I was trans. As I said, there's always going to be people who don't accept you in your life. We need to put up with that, and, well, we kind of just need to accept others, and even if we don't want to accept them, we need to just respect their opinions and leave them alone. Because unless you're like one of those extremist people, no one's going to indoctrinate you to be trans. It's not a cult. We do joke it is though. If you like know me in real life and hear me say something like, I was 12 when I was abducted into a transgender cult, that's just a joke, don't worry. It's not a cult, it's an identity. I'm glad I could have this talk with you all today, although I know a lot of people aren't going to watch this because it is a long video. But it is always best that we keep our minds open and just be accepting. Bye kiddos!